I don't know what specific episode this is referencing, but I'm sure they've done a great job. Greetings, you flesh duplicates. I hope you're doing well. My name is Graham. Welcome to the Crack-A-Pack here on LRRMTG, where today I'm opening a pack of Doctor Who Collector Booster. This was given to us by iBlue, or AI Blue, in mail time. You too can mail us things to the address on your screen, if you so desire. But for today, I'm opening this one. We'll start with the token, which on one side is a beast, and on the other side is a Dalek. And yeah, that sounds about right. Monster of the week. Collector booster, so everything's foil, unless I say otherwise. And we're going to start with the TARDIS. Oh man, it's the TARDIS in the TARDIS frame, which makes it look weird. The TARDIS is a 2-mana vehicle, a 2/4, with flying, and whenever the TARDIS attacks, if you control a Time Lord, the next spell you cast this turn has Cascade, and you may Planeswalk Crew 2. I just remembered how complicated these decks were. The TARDIS is a great card in these decks. Just giving anything Cascade is unreal. It just has to attack. It doesn't even have to connect. It just has to attack, and if you control a Time Lord, Cascade's happening. You don't even have to have the Time Lord when you cast the spell. It's just you have to have the Time Lord when the TARDIS attacks. That's bizarre. What order are these in? This is all over the place. Hold on. I haven't looked at what the cards are, but there's like 10 rares? What? Okay, hang on. I'm just looking at the expansion symbols. And I'm going to sort of rearrange things. Okay, we have a basic swamp. They look like they're in a bog in Scotland somewhere. I don't know what specific episode this is referencing, but I'm sure they've done a great job. We've got a thriving grove. That's the one from Jumpstart. It enters tapped, and when it enters, you choose a color other than, in this case, green, and then it taps for green and whatever color you specify. And this one is a fancy foil. I don't know the name of this foil. Whovian foil, cyber foil, wibbly wobbly foil. It's this one. You can see, right?
Is it just the surge foil?
Surge foils, that's what they're called.
Yeah.
Yeah. And an arcane signet. 2 mana, tap to add 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. And it's the seal of the High Council of Gallifrey. And that's just a regular foil. And now everything else in here is rare.
That is, I don't believe how collector booster packs work. Is there a chance this was resealed?
I don't think so. It super doesn't look it. Like, this looks legit.
Because, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's not how they work.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you what's in here.
All right.
If you were going to reseal it, why would you still have, like, a swamp and an arcane signet and, like, the token and everything? Like, this doesn't... It's... Yeah, I don't know. Okay. I'll tell you what. I'm going to do all the lands first, because there's a lot of lands. I do remember this, actually, from opening some Doctor Who collector boosters myself, that they have a lot of lands. So, and I guess all the lands are rare, and so maybe that's just how the coalition worked? I don't know. Deserted Beach. It enters tapped unless you control 2 or more other lands, taps for white or blue. This is just a regular foil, and it's got the impossible astronaut wandering off into a lake. Sky Cloud Expanse. This one's foil and expanded art. It's a land that if you put 1 generic mana into it, you get white and blue out of it. And it's got the TARDIS up in the clouds. Then I've got a Scattered Groves, which is non-foil but wide art. It enters tapped and taps for green and white, but also cycles for 2. It always catches me off guard when it doesn't specify on the card that it taps for green and white, because it's a forest plains, so it just inherently does that. But sometimes they'll put reminder text on, but this time, no. It just, if you didn't know that, it would just look like this entered tapped and cycles. So that's a different pile, because that's non-foil but wide. And then this one is wide surge foil River of Tears, which taps for a blue, but if you played the land this turn, it taps for black instead. So this is a new, different pile. This pile's regular foil. This is surge foil regular border. This is surge foil extended art. This is non-foil extended art. And this is regular foil extended art. Okay. Next, the Ninth Doctor, which is Christopher Eccleston. 1 blue-red for a 2/4 Time Lord Doctor with haste, which I love because his first line in the show is run and into the TARDIS. Whenever the Ninth Doctor becomes untapped during your untap step, you get an additional upkeep step after this step. Every one of these cards is broken. Anyway, regular border, regular foil. Oh, I missed a land. I'm sorry. Darkwater Catacombs. It's another one of those filter lands like the Skycloud Expanse. This, you put a generic mana into it and you get blue and black out of it. Regular border, regular foil. Ace. Fearless Rebel. 3 and a green for a 2/2 Human Rebel with Nitro 9. Whenever Ace Fearless Rebel attacks, you may sacrifice an artifact. When you do, you put a +1/+1 counter on Ace. Then Ace fights up to 1 target creature defending player controls, and also has Doctor's Companion, meaning you can have 2 commanders if Ace is 1 and the Doctor is another. Regular border, regular foil. Return the Past. 4 red for an enchantment. As long as it's your turn, each instant and sorcery card in your graveyard has flashback. Its flashback cost is equal to its mana cost. God, these decks were a headache to play. This booster pack is a headache. This one's wide non-foil, which goes in that pile. I love this set, and I'm struggling. All right. Strax, Sontaran Nurse with the shovel. Wide art, regular foil. 3 red-green for a 5/5 alien cleric with vigilance and trample. And 2 other abilities. Grenades! 2 and tap and sacrifice an artifact. Choose a player at random. When you do, Strax fights another creature that player controls. And Glory of Battle. Whenever Strax deals damage to a creature, put a +1/+1 counter on Strax. And that lives in this pile for the regular foil but wide art. The Weeping Angel. 1 blue-black for a 2/2 alien angel with flash and first strike and vigilance. Whenever an opponent casts a creature spell, Weeping Angel isn't a creature until end of turn, because they're looking at it. If Weeping Angel would deal combat damage to a creature, prevent that damage, and that creature's owner shuffles it into their library. That's great and terrifying. For those keeping score, the Weeping Angel doesn't necessarily kill you, you get lost in time. It just puts you somewhere else in time. So being like, boink, shuffled away, that's great. This is wide art surge foil. So it goes in this pile. I guess technically the TARDIS is a showcase frame, which should be in its own pile, because that's showcase frame foil. And our last card is a showcase frame non-foil, and it's the Master multiplied. 4 black-red for a 4/3 Time Lord Rogue with Myriad. The legend rule doesn't apply to creature tokens you control. Triggered abilities you control can't cause you to sacrifice or exile creature tokens you control. So, because normally Myriad is whenever this creature attacks one player, you make tokens that attack every other opponent. And then at the end of combat, you sacrifice the tokens. But in this case, you attack. Legendary rule doesn't apply to tokens, so you can make those tokens, because the Master Multiplied is legendary. So first of all, you get to actually make the tokens. Then, you don't have to sacrifice them at the end of combat. So then in a normal 4-player commander game, you just have 3 of them. And then the next turn, if they all get to attack, then you make a bajillion more of them. And then presumably all your friends don't like you anymore. This one is a showcase TARDIS frame, but non-foil. I feel like, from a clerical perspective, James, this has been hell.
I think I've got them.
So after all that, we're landing around $30 for the pack. Most of that, well, not most of that, but the highest one at $7 is the Deserted Beach. And then the Surge Foil Wide Art Weeping Angel following that. I can't begin to imagine what I would take here if I was drafting this. So I guess the master. Well, no, because if you're not doing multiplayer, then it's not as good. So I don't know. Strax? Weeping Angel, maybe? Maybe just the Weeping Angel. 2/2 flash flying first strike vigilance. Oh, it doesn't fly. I'm sorry. 2/2 flash first strike vigilance for 3 with all those other abilities. Seems pretty good. I love this set so much, and this is absolutely doing my head in. Thank you, iBlue, for giving us this bizarre pack. And I do think this just is what the Doctor Who collector boosters were like, if I recall from opening some of them, because there's so many wild lands in them, and the lands are all technically rare, so it's just a bunch of rares. I don't know. We'll have to, I'll tell you what, we'll open another one at some point, and we'll have to compare and contrast. But for now, thanks iBlue for this pack, and thank you for watching and for supporting the show, either by leaving a comment and a like, or by supporting us directly at Patreon, patreon.com/loadingreadyrun, or becoming a member on this YouTube channel. I've been Graham. James has been on tech. Shoutouts to the editors as always, and thanks for being here. We'll see you next time.